Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Nation's Pastime in the nation's capital. I'm your host, Andrew Snaith, here with my co-host, James Higgins and Robbie Cruz. And boys, we finally have postseason baseball on the menu. It is October, and it has arrived in all of its glory.
The best month of the year.
Yes, sir. It's going to be another great postseason. Got a lot of great postseason memories watching growing up as a kid, so it's a pretty exciting time. Last week, you guys might have missed this out, but we made some pretty bold postseason predictions. I'm still sticking by my Yankees to win it all this season. Friday's going to be a great game, but I'll tell you what, I'll be watching it. I'm super excited.
There were definitely some bold predictions made last week. We will definitely explore them as well a little bit longer as we proceed into the Division Series matchups in the coming weekend. But before we get into that, just want to thank everyone again for tuning in. Remember, we are live every Wednesday night, 8 to 9, as we are now, and our shows are posted the next day in podcast form on our Twitter and subsequently on our YouTube. The name for that is @NatPastimeCap. And just a reminder as well, if anyone wants to call in and contribute to the discussion in any way, we would love to hear you. That number is 202-319-5106, 202-319-5106. So with that said, I think that we should start off this show with a recap from the ridiculously wild card game last night by none other than our field reporter, actually, Mr. James Higgins, who had the honor of attending that. So, James, give us a little bit of a recap of what went on with that crazy game.
One of the best games I've ever been to in my life, and I didn't think that through 7.5 innings. 2 batters in, I had seen this movie 4 times before. The Nationals were going to show up in a do-or-die postseason game and just let it and watch it go away. Watch their season go right before them and get eliminated yet again. But fortunately, Juan Soto and the Washington Nationals offense answered the bell in the 8th inning. Scherzer wasn't at his best through 5 innings. So he settled in and was better as the game went on, but he still wasn't great. The early home run to Grandal, 2 batters in, just sucked the life out of the stadium until the bottom of the 8th. And then the home run that he gave up to Thames in the 3rd just continued to add that. Turner with a solo home run in the bottom of the 3rd gave the Nationals and the crowd a little bit of life. But the crowd, we really weren't into it until the 8th inning, honestly.
I was going to say, it seemed incredibly quiet there.
It was. And after 2 batters in, I texted a bunch of people. I thought the game was over because I've seen them in 3 Game 5s, and I've seen them not show up. And in 2014, arguably their best team, they lost in 4 to the Giants. So every year I've seen them not show up in the postseason with a good team, and I was like, here we go again. What they're going to waste away another great team because this is a very good team. But fortunately, they didn't. And to me, the Nationals offense every postseason always has one signature inning every game, which makes their numbers look better than what they are. And they had that one. They only had 3 hits going into the 8th inning last night, and I think only 1 or 2 other base runners besides that. But in the 8th inning, they put it together. Hayter was a little wild. Taylor got on the hit by pitch. Rendon with a big walk. Zimmerman with a shattered bat single. And then Soto with the game-winning hit. Regardless of whether Grisham fielded that ball cleanly or not, it would have tied the game.
I think that's fair.
Give 20-year-old Juan Soto a lot of credit. He has ice water in his veins. People who follow the Nationals who are diehard baseball fans know how special of a player and how special of a talent Juan Soto is, but he introduced himself to the world as a superstar last night because October is where superstars and legends are born. And he introduced himself to the baseball world with a big clutch hit last night, and then Daniel Hudson came on and shut the door last night, and he did what they needed to do. But I think the biggest part of the game last night was Steven Strasburg's 3 dominant innings out of the bullpen. I thought, going into the game, they should have started him.
Timeout. Did Yandy Diaz just hit a home run?
Yandy Diaz just hit a leadoff home run in the AL wildcard game.
Oh, we got a wildcard update?
1-0.
Yandy Diaz, is that the first pitch of the game right there?
That was the 3rd pitch of the game.
Oh, my goodness. Sean Manaea taken deep by Yandy Diaz. 1-0 Tampa Bay in the 1st inning. That is fantastic to see for everyone out there pulling for the Tampa Bay Rays. The team with the 29th lowest attendance in all of baseball, and here they are battling for a chance to play the Astros in the postseason. Fantastic start for them.
Yeah, sorry, James, for cutting you off there, but you were saying about Juan Soto?
Well, I think going back to Strasburg, he shoved last night, had 3 dominant innings, put on an absolute clinic. And I alluded to this last week. I thought he should have started the game because he had the better second half. He had a great September. Scherzer had a 5.16 ERA in September, was 2-2. And going into last night, not all of this was Scherzer's fault, but Scherzer's teams had lost their last 7 postseason starts. He had a 3.3 ERA. which is good, but it's not his 3-time Cy Young resume. Strasburg in 3 postseason starts previous was 1-2 with a .47 ERA. So all with the dealing with the pressure of October, he lives up to that. He lives up to pitching in October, pitching on the big stage, and last night he proved it again, lowering his postseason ERA to .41. He was nails yet again, and he was the biggest reason why the Nationals won last night because he kept the game at bay. The game could have easily gotten out of hand because Suter came in and was Woodruff had a good start. Suter came in for the inning, was a little shaky, but he got out of the jam. Pomerantz threw 2 very easy innings. I thought he was going to stay out there for a third inning. I don't know why Counsell pulled him, but they went with one of the best relievers in baseball. They went with Josh Hader, and it backfired. He didn't have control last night. The control issues that plagued him in late July and early August came back. He has not had a good history at Nats Park. He had a terrible All-Star game there. Had a terrible 9th inning there in August in the 15-14 win for Milwaukee, and then last night. So Nationals Park has not treated him well, and I understand that he's 16 out of 21 in his career when called upon to get a 6-out save, and I understand the Brewers wanting to get to LA and using their horse, but with the way Pomerantz is throwing the ball, they probably should have left Pomerantz out there for that 3rd inning and then just have Hader go on in the 9th and pitch there. But hindsight's 20/20, and hindsight's 20/20 with Grisham just getting in front of that ball because that 3rd run is not going to score anyway, and that 2nd run was already going to score. So if you're Grisham, you just got to get in front of that ball, block it, and live for a 1st and 3rd situation with who would have been coming up?
Soto. Who was batting behind?
Howie Kendrick. With Kendrick coming up after. So, if you're that's going to sting for Grisham and the Brewers and Hader for a while, but that's baseball. It's this is why postseason baseball is the best thing on the face of this earth, and you couldn't convince me otherwise. Postseason baseball is the best, and you can't beat it. But that atmosphere last night was electric. I've never been inside a louder stadium. I've been to 5 postseason games in Nats Park. That's easily the loudest it's ever been in the bottom of the 8th, and then when they clinched in the 9th, absolute euphoria. It was unbelievable, and I'm so glad I was there to witness it. Obviously, they're my National League team. They've been my National League team my whole entire life. Been to a lot of Nationals games, a lot of postseason games, and it's great for the Nationals to finally flip the script, finally show up in the postseason, finally do something, and maybe this is their year. The year where they're not supposed to do anything. Maybe this is their year where they finally answer the bell in the postseason because I think they have the horses in the rotation to take down the Dodgers. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that series plays out. But this Nationals team can definitely make a run in the postseason.
Now, quick question for you, James.
Yeah.
Are you worried about Max Scherzer against a team like the Los Angeles Dodgers? I know that we kind of discussed this last week. We all agreed that Scherzer clearly isn't the same pitcher now as he was in the beginning of the season. He's obviously got that back issue that was reoccurring a few weeks ago. And now, I was watching him pitch last night, and in the first 2 innings, this stuff it's not the same as it once was. Now, are you concerned for him in a series against a team like the Los Angeles Dodgers?
Well, here's the thing. His velocity is still there. He's still gassing guys up 96, 97. It's just he's not getting a feel for his slider and his curveball early on, and that's his problem. The pitch to Thames was a curveball or slider. He didn't get down enough. It didn't have enough break on it, and Thames just reached out there and hit it out. So I'm not worried per se. I'm not oh crap, Max Scherzer's on the mound. He's going to give up 6 runs in 3 innings and not give us a chance. But I'm not yes, it's obviously Scherzer in the postseason, but I'm not going to expect 8 innings of 1 run or shutout baseball. But he's going to give you a chance in that game. Yeah, I'd be confident with Scherzer on the mound. I don't have any worries. The pitcher I'm most confident in is Strasburg without a doubt. I thought he should have started the game last night. He's been one of the best pitchers in baseball all year. He had one of his best seasons, and he knows how to pitch in October. And this stage doesn't faze him, and that's what we learned against the Cubs in 2017. It's what we learned last night, and that's who they gotta go with in Game 2 and then in Game 5 if necessary. And I got all the faith in Corbin in Game 1 and then hopefully in Game 4 as well.
So it looks like we're gonna see Max Scherzer Game 3. It's looking like
that's what I would presume because Sunday would be Game 3 and that's his regular rest day based off of last night. Strasburg threw I believe 37 pitches last night, so you can go to Strasburg on Friday. Corbin's on regular rest going tomorrow. So they'll be ready to go. It's going to be a good series. I think it's going to go the full 5, and the best team will win.
Could very well see that. Yeah.
But one more thought on the game last night before we get on to our next topic. I'm happy for Soto. I'm happy for Strasburg because he had unrealistic expectations coming out of college, and he obviously hasn't lived up to them. But nobody could live up to those expectations. It's not a knock on Strasburg, but Steven Strasburg is a great major league pitcher, and he's answered the bell in October multiple times, and I'm glad to see him having success because he deserves it. And the Nationals deserve this. And the fans deserve it. Like they've gone through so many years of heartbreak and not showing up in the postseason, and to finally win a do-or-die postseason game and advance in a round, it's unbelievable. So hopefully the next round treats them well, and we'll see where it goes from here.
Now, they did win a do-or-die postseason game, but correct me if I'm wrong,
So,
they still have not won a postseason series, correct? Are we counting that as a postseason series? Because I don't think
correct.
we can...
They won. Yeah. They won Game 4 in 2017 against the Cubs. That was
no, right. But I'm saying we're not counting this as a postseason series victory, right?
I'm not. But
I'm not trying to roast any Nats fans out there.
They advanced. Like,
right. Of course. I'm just making sure for clarity's sake.
It's not a series, but they advanced.
So we'll see. I mean, they got a date with the Dodgers now, and you know what? As much as I cannot stand the Washington Nationals being a member of the NL East here, I gotta say, if there's a team that can take them down, that pitching staff is more than capable of doing it, and we saw the news today that Buehler is going to be going Game 1.
Down the Dodgers.
Yeah, I think that's very true.
I think the only other way the Dodgers lose is not to the Nationals is if Jack Flaherty pitches 3 times because he is the best pitcher on planet Earth right now.
He really is.
And I showed him some love 2 or 3 weeks ago.
It was a good call.
He's been the best pitcher in the second half. He's the best pitcher on the face of this earth right now. He is the only guy that can slow down the Dodgers that's not on the Nationals, I believe, in the National League.
Of course, right. Yeah, just to quickly touch on Jack Flaherty, I mean, it just reminds me of so many different times when we've seen a pitcher just get in the zone at the end of the season, and we've seen multiple times what a pitcher can do to just carry a team. I mean, we remember when Justin Verlander essentially he was absolutely ridiculous after he was acquired in 2017, led them to a World Series. Going back a little more, I'm sure there's numerous examples.
I think this postseason could end up being Jack Flaherty's Madison Bumgarner moment.
That's what I'm saying.
He's
Madison
in the zone right now. Like this, he's in
Yeah.
the zone right now. He's locked in. Nobody can touch him. If the Cardinals make it to the World Series and potentially win the World Series, he is going to carry them there because he's their only reliable starting pitcher right now.
Yeah,
consistently.
And you know what? If the offense can keep it up, I mean, that's really all you need. I mean, like we just said, Madison Bumgarner 2 times, almost. Actually, it was 2 times. 3 times. I was going to say it was probably 3 times. Being able to go into the postseason and be as successful as he was and as reliable as he was. You can think of so many teams that had one pitcher that won the World Series. Like I said, Verlander the year with them. You look at Cole Hamels with the Phillies in 2008.
Johnny Cueto in 2016.
Johnny Cueto with the Kansas City Royals in 2015. These are teams that had one pitcher, and you know what? If that one pitcher zoned in like that, no question in my mind that can be all it takes to get these series.
I just want to throw this out there, and I'm not trying to jump to the future before we touch on our next topic, but Jack Flaherty, 2020 NL Cy Young.
Wow.
There you go. You heard it here first.
It's a bold prediction.
Over Jacob deGrom?
I picked deGrom to win back-to-back this year, and he's going to. I'll take Jack Flaherty next year.
Next year.
Yeah, no, Jack Flaherty, 2020
okay,
NL Cy Young. He's an emerging star. He's always been a good pitcher, but he's taken it to the next level, and he's going to win the Cy Young next year.
Bold prediction. You heard it here first.
Bold prediction.
So, taking a break from a little bit of some postseason talk right now, because there is something else that's going on in the baseball world as we speak, and that is just this manager frenzy over the past couple of days here. We have seen so many changes and so many rumors about changing managers all throughout the major leagues. Of course, Brad Ausmus fired from the Los Angeles Angels. Joe Maddon, obviously the big story there, being fired by the Cubs. Andy Green fired by the San Diego Padres. And, of course, the questions that are surrounding Mets manager Mickey Callaway and, of course, Phillies manager Gabe Kapler. It's crazy to me to see this much overturn in so short time. I mean, it seems like so many teams knew right away that we need to make a change. And, okay, so let's start the discussion with this. How big of a role do we actually think the manager plays for a baseball team? Because I have heard throughout the past 2 weeks or so both sides of the story. I've heard managers are a very important part of making the club complete and what it is and necessary to win. And then I've heard that we're in an era now where it's so statistically driven that the manager is almost just irrelevant because the decisions are being made sabermetrically speaking, by the front office anyway, and it's just being communicated through the manager, if that makes sense.
I'm going to go out and say that it's kind of a mix of both. Sometimes the manager is at fault, and sometimes the manager is not at fault. I believe that if we're going to take a look at a guy like Mickey Callaway, I think he's at fault for the Mets' struggles. The way he's managed a bullpen has been absolutely asinine. He's been absolutely god-awful. He's been one of the worst managers in baseball right now. He's made some awful decisions.
Can I give a fantastic example of one of his decisions this year?
Well, let's hear it.
This year, when the pitcher spot was due up with 2 on and 2 out,
I thought
Mickey
that was last year against the Reds?
No, this was this year.
Okay.
This is actually, I do know, yes, I know the Reds moment you're talking about. But this year, 2 on with 2 outs, bases open, Andrew Knapp is up at the plate. Mickey Callaway decides to walk Andrew Knapp to face the pitcher spot, where Bryce Harper is waiting to pinch hit and subsequently gives up the lead. And his reason for that was, I believe, Andrew Knapp had been on base twice that day or something stupid like that. I remember reading that and I'm just thinking, this is Andrew Knapp. Andrew Knapp is probably the most useless player in baseball right now. I don't care if he's been on base 5 times that day. You're going to walk him to face Bryce Harper, the bases loaded. So that's just a little side there. But I think definitely go on with your thoughts on Callaway.
That's just an example of a manager who I think is responsible for a team's struggles. I also remember last year when Jason Vargas was pitching at Coors Field, Jason Vargas got absolutely lit up, and rather than critiquing Jason Vargas on some of his mistakes, what he went out to the media and said was, he's pitching at Coors Field. I'm going to give him a break.
Making excuses.
That's
right.
No, a good manager does not make excuses.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
So this is an example of a time when a manager is responsible for team struggles, I believe. I believe that Mickey Callaway's made some awful decisions this past year. However, there are times where managers I don't believe are at fault. As an example, if we're going to go back to the 2017 playoffs, the Yankees fired Joe Girardi mostly because, number one, they wanted a change. But number two, and more importantly, I believe, it was because of that decision, where the no-call decision against the Cleveland Indians in the ALDS. You remember that?
Where he did not challenge.
Exactly, where I think it was Francisco Lindor, Carlos Santana, somebody was up.
Right.
And the pitch hit, it did not hit the batter, but the umpire said that it did hit the batter. And rather than choosing to challenge it, Joe Girardi decided to let the guy go to first base, and then, of course, the next guy hits a go-ahead grand slam. I think that a little decision like that cost Girardi his job, and yes, I do think that the Yankees wanted to change that time. However, I think that decision mostly predicated the reason for the firing. So it's kind of a mix of both to me. Sometimes you have managers that are absolutely awful, and they make constantly bad decisions, and they've got to go sooner or later. And you've got times where managers probably aren't at fault, but you just need a scene of changing.
Change the scenery.
Change the scenery. I'm sorry. Yeah, my bad. So it's kind of a mix of both, essentially, but that's just my opinion.
Here's the thing with managers now. Like, you have to be able to do certain things well. You have to your job as a manager, you have to be able to manage the bullpen. You have to be able to make good personnel decisions with your lineup and being good at communicating with your players. So telling them the day before if they're going to get a day off so they can get their lift in or get in the right state of mind, or telling a role player if he's going to get the next start or the next or start the next couple of days so he can get in the right state of mind. You tell them the night before. But so aside from lineup decisions, you got to make lineup decisions. You got to make good personnel decisions and managing your bullpen. The biggest job as a manager is managing your clubhouse. You have to have control of that clubhouse. You have to know every player. You have to know his strengths and weaknesses. You have to know what motivates them, because there's 25 guys in there, and there's going to be 25 different things that motivates each guy. For some guys, it's going to be barking at them. Some guys, it's just going to be slight criticism. Some guys, you just got to pump them up, encourage them, tell them they're good. You have to know how to manage your clubhouse and manage your players, because the teams that win, they have a lot of fun and they have a good relationship with their manager because they have control. The manager has control of the clubhouse and they know what buttons to push.
Yeah,
you have to have and I think a big role in that is being a good communicator, because the biggest difference that what almost every Red Sox player has said between John Farrell and Alex Cora is communication. Alex Cora is very good at communicating lineup decisions, pitching decisions, staying on top of the relievers, knowing whether they're good to go that night or not. And John Farrell was a terrible communicator. That's ultimately what cost him his job in Boston.
Now, random question. Now, we're mentioning some of the things that are going to cause managers to be fired, but let's look at a guy like Joe Madden, who's obviously an incredible manager. what would you say his reasoning for being fired was?
It
Was
has
the
to be
lack of
changed.
communication to
his
change the
voice.
scene?
His voice got tired within the organization, and
Right.
what I mean by that is that he had been there for 5 years. He did what he was asked to do and win a World Series, and they had gotten worse each year. Not like terribly worse, but just they went from a World Series to losing the LCS to losing in the wild card game to missing the playoffs. Yes, they had 5 straight winning seasons, and he's the only Cubs manager to ever lead his team to 4 consecutive postseason appearances. But at a certain point, sometimes you just need a new voice, and sometimes you know it's time. Joe Madden, he's going to be remembered as accomplishing something that really no other Cubs manager has done, which is
Literally no one everyone has done. Yeah.
win a World Series, and
Yeah.
he did his job. The players love him. The players will always love him. Theo will be grateful for him. Tom Ricketts will be thankful for him. The Cubs owner and all the fans. Nobody's gonna remember Joe Madden in a negative light in Chicago, and nobody should. And flipping the script on Joe Madden, I think he's going to go to the Angels or the Padres. Those
I'm
would be
gonna
the
say the
two most
Angels.
logistical, most convenient. Landing spots for him because he lives in Southern California. So in Orange County. So he's got a house out there, and to get someone like that to manage Trout and Ohtani in their prime would be great. But then also, I think the Padres job is the best job out there because they have Tatis Jr., they have Machado, they have a great farm system. Mackenzie Gore, Chris Paddock had a solid rookie
Kirby
year.
Yates, fantastic.
Yeah,
year.
they have a really good young core and a great farm system. So they're going to be really, really, really good for a long time. And it's perfect weather out in San Diego. Who wouldn't want to be out there? So I think that job is very desirable. I also think the Cubs job is desirable, despite them missing the playoffs this year. They still have a good roster together as long as they keep everything intact for the next year or two. They shouldn't trade Bryant. They shouldn't trade Rizzo. They shouldn't trade anyone in their core. I think Girardi is going to go to Chicago. Personally,
I could see that.
Yeah, I like that
today
idea.
he said he'd love to manage again, and he has a lot of ties with Chicago. I think Chicago would be dumb to hire David Ross. I don't think David Ross
yeah,
is really
I did
that
hear
smart,
that.
and I think David Ross is just a smiley old grandpa. I don't really think he knows a lot about the game. To be quite honest with you, I've listened to him talk about the game on ESPN, and I just his analysis isn't that great. And it's obviously good to be a players manager, but he played with a lot of those guys, and I think he'd get too close to the players and ultimately backfire on him and bite the Cubs in the rear end.
Yeah,
in the
I
next
think
few years.
at this point, I think it's fair to say, speaking about Joe Girardi, that he will be managing a major league team next
I
year.
think so
He
too.
should be.
Yeah, I think he should be as
How about-
well. I mean,
How about Girardi? I know they just hired David Bell, but I think Girardi would be a good fit in Cincinnati.
that would be a very interesting fit, but I don't think they're about to fire David
No.
Bell, though, yeah.
I'm just saying, hypothetically, I think he'd be a good fit there.
No, definitely.
I like
could
Joe
see that.
Girardi for possibly the Mets job. He stays in New York. He really likes the city, but I also do like the Cubs potential position.
Joe
for him. I
Girardi's
think that'd be good.
gonna succeed wherever he goes.
Yeah, I really liked him as a manager, and one of the things that was so special as a Yankee fan watching Girardi go out there and manage was that the players obviously really enjoyed playing for him. The team was always succeeding, and he always had his players' backs. When he would slam his head at the ground, where he'd kick dirt at the umpire, little things like that. And that's the kind of thing that you need out of a manager. And Joe Girardi brings it. And when the Yankees fired Girardi, I thought somebody was going to pick him up immediately, possibly the Mets. However, obviously nobody ended up taking Joe Girardi into their coaching staff. But I think that as a Yankee fan, being able to watch him for 9 years, he's a really good manager. I really like him.
Yeah, I think that's very fair. You know what? I could definitely see Girardi landing in a place like New York as well, or any of the other jobs. Really, I feel like he could be a good fit anywhere. He's just one of those guys, like you said, who all the players get along with, and I just think knows how to manage a clubhouse, which we agreed was a very, very important part of being a manager. But yeah, I mean,
I would agree with that. Now, one thing that I will note though about certain managers is I have noticed that all managers have a different way of managing a ball club. I remember this year, Aaron Boone, he kind of had a little pattern going on. He would always go Ottavino, Green, Chapman, Britton, and then whoever else was in the bullpen. He always had that pattern going along. But then Joe Girardi as a manager, when he had all the weapons out of the bullpen, he would throw a guy like Luis Ayala and some random guys, and then he'd bring in David Robertson and then Mariano Rivera, little things like that. So it's just kind of preference with managers, but to me, Joe Girardi always did the right thing, and I liked him a lot.
Yeah, just highlighting the Madden situation as well, just to go off what James said. Can you imagine being a better situation than Joe Madden just getting let go and knowing that there's 4 or 5 teams that will instantly pretty much give you what you want immediately?
Oh, he's the
to manage?
best
He's
manager
in a
out there.
fantastic
He's the best
position
manager
right
But
now.
is anybody going to point out the fact that in 2016, after the Cubs won the World
Yes, he
Series,
got-
we believed that this Cubs team was going to be a dynasty. We thought that this team, I heard people say, who's going to beat the Cubs? They were the Golden State Warriors of baseball. That's what we were saying. The fact that they go from
But at the
World
same time,
Series
can
3
you
years ago
say that that's his fault? Because I don't think
I wouldn't
it
say
is.
it's Joe Matt's fault. I'm just saying when players are underperforming consistently, that usually goes back to the manager, because the manager can sometimes do something to possibly fix that.
Yeah, no,
Well, I mean,
think
guys
that's
have
fair.
underperformed, but their superstars haven't. Like Bryant
Brian's still
had a
superstar.
He's
really
just had
good-
injury issues, though.
Bryant
That's his thing.
had a really really good 2017 that people don't talk about, and he had a great 2019, and he was injured in 2018. Rizzo has had a great last 3 years. Baez had an okay 17, a great 18, and a very good 19. Contreras has blossomed in 18 and 19. So it really hasn't been from their superstars. It's more been their superstars offensively. It's more been from
The bullpen and pitching.
Exactly. He's had a bad bullpen in Chicago. And then Lester wasn't good this year. The starting rotation took a step back. Darvish stepped up when they needed him to. So Cubs fans shouldn't fret about 2020 because they still have a good team. They will have a chance to compete. But it'll be interesting to see what they do this offseason and if they try to sign guys like Brian and Baez to an extension.
It really will be interesting to see there, yeah.
Now, if you were the general manager of the Cubs, what kind of decisions, what kind of moves would you make for the team? Because
Bullpen.
it's a team that has no money whatsoever, and it looks like a lot of changes are coming their way.
Well, it's not only that they have no money, it's the fact that they don't have as much money as they'd like, and they also have players who are going to need to start being extended soon, as we just said, guys like Baez or Brian or whoever it may be. Honestly, I agree with James. You got to make bullpen moves. You just got to solidify the team that's on the field right now, and just hope you can just get back in it next year.
You have to make bullpen moves and hope you get something productive out of Ian Happ because he's been a flop so far.
Yeah.
They traded away Eloy Jimenez, and he's going to be a future superstar. They traded away Jorge Soler, who led the AL in home runs this year. So they've traded away some of their young, cost controllable talent, which is part of the issue in terms of money. But they have Zobrist coming off the books. I think the only way they could try to get more money is if they somehow found a team to take Hayward's contract, but I don't think they will.
How about John Lester's contract?
He's only got one more year, right?
Yeah, he's got one more year, I'm pretty sure.
He was a free agent in 2014, and he signed a
One more
6-year
year.
deal. Okay, so he's got one more year. Okay, so I guess you essentially played out, but then next year, I guess you're kind of still stuck in that.
Why don't you just go over the luxury tax, and if you can win the World Series, you win the World Series.
Do you see this Cubs team winning a World Series though next year?
I mean, if they can make the moves, they have the core to win a World Series.
Well, I know earlier you were mentioning, James, that they need a bullpen help. What free agents or possible trade pieces should the Cubs go out and pursue?
I don't know. I'll figure that out in the offseason, but I'm just saying in general they need to go get bullpen help.
And it's not like they haven't tried to get bullpen help in the past. They've acquired Wade Davis, Steve Chisek, guys like that. They acquired what seems to be everybody, and they just haven't had a guy work out. I remember
Wade
when
Davis
they
worked
acquired,
out. He made the All-Star team.
Yeah, Wade Davis was fantastic for them.
Not that they didn't work out, but the bullpen was still bad. That's kind of the point that I'm trying to make here. The bullpen still ended up being a key contributor to why they were struggling.
Like Carl Edwards Jr. wasn't what they thought he would be.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. It's just guys underperforming and guys not living up. Kimbrel.
Yeah, that's another one. The Cubs keep on trying to get bullpen help. There are many teams that just try and they can't find the right guy. Brings me back to the Detroit Tigers in 2014. They were desperate to get bullpen help in that time. They acquired Joe Nathan, Jose Valverde. It seemed like they tried everybody, and the bullpen was still the issue.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's a lot of questions with the Cubs there. But putting that aside, main takeaways, of course, Joe Maddon in a fantastic position. Believe Joe Girardi should be going as well. Should be managing as well next season. And other than that, there's just some really big questions with guys like Callaway and Kapler, who we could get into. But we'll put that aside for now. We're going to take a quick break here and transition to our next section where we just kind of start discussing the main division series matchups. And also, while we are on break here, we're going to go ahead and put the AL wildcard game on right now. I believe it's bases loaded. Oakland has.
Bases loaded.
Yeah.
2 outs in the bottom of the first. Profar's up with a 2-2 count. And regardless of whether Tampa gets out of this without giving up any runs or not, Morton's pitch count is at 31 pitches. So that's something to keep an eye on.
Yeah,
Morton
so definitely
has not been the same as he was in the beginning of the season. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah,
he's been bad.
All right, so we're going to take a quick break here on WCUA Radio. We'll leave you with a little snippet of that game, and we will be right back in a second.
Peace out.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Nation's Pastime in the Nation's Capital. I'm your host, Andrew Snaith, here with my co-host, Robbie Cruz and James Higgins. And we are going to now move into discussions of the DS Series matchups, because when we left you last week, we were not sure of the exact teams that would be playing each other. We had a good idea, but we weren't sure of the exact ones. Now that we know actual matchups and we're starting to see some of the rosters and probable pitchers come out, can get into a little bit more of an in-depth discussion. And, why not? Because there's just so much excitement building around the October baseball right now. What we just left you with, of course, the Tampa Bay-Oakland wildcard game. Tampa Bay still up 1-0. Sean Monet out there for a second inning of work. Something, of course, noted by James, though. Charlie Morton over 30 pitches to get through the first inning, which is not exactly great for the Tampa Bay starter, but we do remember that is a very bullpen-heavy team as well.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see how that plays out there. We'll continue to give you updates as we move along in the conversation. Just a reminder, if anyone wants to hop in the conversation at any time about any point, go ahead and call in. We'd love to have you on. That number is 202-319-5106, 202-319-5106. So, why don't we go around the Division Series matchups that we know? Obviously, we're not sure who the Astros will be playing yet, but let's start with the best team in the NL, being, of course, the Los Angeles Dodgers and their matchup with the Nationals. Now, I know we talked a lot earlier about that matchup already, but just briefly, we'll go more in depth on the other ones. What are your guys' thoughts about how it's going to match up there? We already know the game one's going to be Buehler and Corbin. Do we think that sets a precedent for the rest of the series? Do we think the best team's going to just kind of steamroll through here, or the Nationals going to put up a good fight?
This is going to be the best division series out
of all of them.
Absolutely.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, why's that?
Pitching.
I think that's fair. Yeah.
Like both teams have the pitching. I know Scherzer and Strasburg both went last night, but they're still going to be full tilt, ready to go. Both teams have very good offenses, exciting players. These are two of the best teams in baseball, and I think it's going to go full 5, so it's going to be very exciting.
Who do you got after 5?
I wonder who.
I think the Nationals have the best chance to dethrone the Dodgers.
You keep saying that, though, but
League.
will they actually do it is the question.
Well, I've been predicting the Dodgers the majority of the second half, and so as much as my heart says the Nationals, and the Nationals can do it, and I think they very well could. I have to stick. That would ruin my whole World Series prediction if I don't. So for prediction's sake, because of my old predictions, I'm sticking with the Dodgers. But hey, that doesn't mean I'm turning my back on the Nationals. That doesn't mean I don't think the Nationals can do it, because don't be shocked if the Nationals beat the Dodgers. I just want to.
No, you're just being realistic. I respect that. Okay,
Robbie, it's not unrealistic.
No, it's not unrealistic.
Yeah.
I'm just saying you're realistic being presented with the facts of the situation. The more likely outcome is the Dodgers. But
correct.
Yeah.
Postseason baseball is a crapshoot.
It is, and it is.
Which is why I love it.
So much about it is getting hot at the right time as well. So you never know. Robbie, who you got in that series?
I'm going to say that it's the Los Angeles Dodgers in 4 games. I think that
4, okay.
Yeah, I think that the Dodgers take the first 2 games in LA. Then I think that the Nationals take Game 3. I think that whoever ends up pitching, whether it's Max Scherzer or Steven Strasburg,
Dude, Strasburg's nails. He's going to go in Game 2. And probably
you think he's just going to be ready to go right away in Game 2? Wow.
Why not?
Just 3 innings.
Yesterday would have been a side day.
Okay.
I'm still going to say the Dodgers in 4. I think that what they're going to do is they're going to end up – they're just going to play hard. I think that the bullpen for the Nationals is going to stab them in the back. I don't trust anybody in that bullpen outside of Daniel Hudson. Sean Doolittle, too inconsistent. Hunter Strickland, inconsistent. Elias can't stay healthy. There's not many people in the Nationals bullpen that I can trust. So I'm going to say Dodgers in 4.
You got Daniel Hudson, and that's about it. So I think that's definitely a fair assessment of that Nationals bullpen. I know we've talked extensively here about the Nationals bullpen plays, but you know what? We'll see. Like James said, playoff baseball
prediction?
is a crapshoot. What do I have?
Yes.
I have the Dodgers.
In how many games? Don't say 3.
No, I'm not going to say 3 because I think either Scherzer or Strasburg is going to turn in a ridiculous performance.
This will be the best series, I think. These are the 2 best.
I think it depends on who wins tonight, because I'm telling you, both of these teams.
You mean who wins tomorrow?
No, who wins? I think
tonight?
Depending on the best series,
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
depends on who wins the wildcard game tonight. And there was a fantastic article that I read the other day about how this is just not fair to the Rays and Oakland. These are 2 teams that they deserve better than this, because they've just been so fantastic and been able to do it on such a low budget.
Well, you can say that about Oakland last year. They won 97.
No, I know, and you can say about Oakland.
Obviously, baseball isn't meant to come down to just one game, but I mean that's the nature of the wildcard game. You got to
right.
You play
no,
162
I agree with that
100%.
But what I'm saying out of that is that both of these teams, I think, have a legitimate chance of dethroning the Houston Astros. And I know that that's a little bit of a crazy statement, being how good the Astros are. But realistically speaking, It's a 5-game series. If this was 7 right away, and like the CS and the World Series are, I would say probably not. But in 5 games, we've seen stranger things happen. I think either the Rays or
Garcia, adios pelota.
Let's have another one. Is that a 2-run shot off the bat of
homer.
Azivil Garcia? And that is a 3-0 lead for the Tampa Bay Rays. Absolutely fantastic to see for all the wonderful Rays fans out there.
Yeah, the 9 people that are watching and like the 7 people that fill the trop. Enjoy.
Hey.
And then enjoy losing to Houston if you win this game.
Hey, hold on a second. They
man.
still had better attendance than the Miami Marlins, so we got to give them some credit.
Barely. The average attendance was under 16,000.
Yes, I'm aware that their attendance was terrible.
Oh.
But you know what? That's just fantastic to see for all those believers out there in the Tampa Bay Rays. 3-0 lead here in the second inning. Sean Manaea not looking too sharp tonight, so that is awesome to see. But you know what?
Can I touch on the next series?
Yeah, go for it. Which one?
Braves Cardinals.
Yes.
Okay, look. The Braves are the sexy pick. Ronald Acuna Jr. Hey, we play loud. He was in the video at least 84 different times. That was a great hype video, but he was in that video 84 times. Josh Donaldson resurgence. Freddie Freeman, one of the best players in baseball. Ozzie Albies shows a lot of flash. Soroka gonna finish in runner-up and rookie of the year. Max Fried. Shane Green. They have a lot of talent. They're a great team, but they win 96, 97 ball games.
They won 96, I believe, yeah.
Won the NL East, deservedly so. I think, but I'm not saying the Braves aren't a good team, but I think a lot of people are sleeping on the St. Louis Cardinals. I have the Cardinals winning this series.
I have the Cardinals in the World Series. Yeah.
Do you really?
I have the Cardinals and Astros.
Asinine.
No, it's not asinine.
That is
it is not
asinine.
asinine. Listen to me.
We
Listen to
just
me.
talked about Jack
Cardinals
Flaherty.
the
Jack
Dodgers.
Flaherty is the best pitcher on planet Earth
That's
right
what
now.
I'm
He
saying.
can carry them to the World
We
Series.
just talked about Jack Flaherty,
How
and
am
you're
I
going to sit here and tell me that's
exaggerating?
crazy.
Listen to me. How am I exaggerating? He has a .91 ERA in the second half. The third lowest second half ERA in baseball history.
Ever. Yeah.
He's still not the best in
Right
baseball.
now, he is the best pitcher
He's
on
the
planet
best
Earth.
pitcher
Right
since
now.
in the postseason, he probably
Right
is,
now,
but
he is the
out
best
of
pitcher on planet
everybody
Earth.
else, he's not. Look, the problem with the St. Louis Cardinals is, number one, I don't trust their lineup. I got a lot of question marks about it. I also have some question marks about that bullpen. Who in that Cardinals bullpen can you trust?
Andrew Miller's been fine.
Andrew Miller's ERA is over 4. He blew the game
He's been
again
fine
the other day.
recently.
Okay.
What?
Listen to me, Robbie. Robbie, listen to me. You want to talk
Are
about
you joking?
Robbie. You want to talk about postseason inexperience with Flaherty? Then how about you flip the coin on your postseason inexperience and talk about postseason experience with Miller? Because the last time he was in the postseason, he shoved for Cleveland.
Yeah, you're the guy who's
The
all
last
about.
time he was in the postseason, he actually blew Game 3 of the ALDS and gave up a solo home run to
dude,
Greg
he
Bird.
One home
he
run.
shoved for
You're
Cleveland.
talking about postseason experience. You're
Like,
the
if-
same
if-
guy
if-
who sat
if
here
you're
last
gonna-
week and said CeCe Sabathia should be on the roster because of his
If you're
postseason
gonna
experience.
talk about
and now you're discounting
if you're
it.
going to talk about postseason inexperience for the best pitcher on planet Earth right now, you have to talk about postseason experience with a guy with an ERA over 4 this year.
Look, okay, the deal with CeCe Sabathia.
No,
I said
I don't
he's
want to get
good.
into shit. We
I
talked
said he's
enough
good in the
about the
dugout.
Yankees.
He's good in the dugout.
Okay, yeah, but we're
Andrew
talking about
Miller
the
has
Cardinals
an
and the
ERA
Braves.
of about 8 in his last 7 games.
No, dude,
and you are trusting him right now.
I am not saying that Miller is the most trustworthy guy, but I'm saying if you want to say that you don't trust Flaherty because he has zero
trust
postseason
Flaherty.
experience.
I'm saying I don't trust the bullpen.
Okay.
I trust
But you
Flaherty
trust the Braves
100%.
bullpen more because Mark Melanson's pretty much been their best arm in the second half because Shane Green's been terrible.
Because Green was removed from the closer's role very
Right.
soon after going to Atlanta. Like he's been better since going to the setup role, but he hasn't been the nails pitcher he was for Detroit.
No, nowhere close.
Let me ask you this. You're in a tough situation. Who do you rather have come in? Andrew Miller or Shane Green?
Who's the batter?
You're going to take
Look,
Shane Green.
I will take Shane Green.
You
I
take
will
Shane
take
Green.
No, I don't think that's true.
Yes, you do.
I'll give you an exact example. If it's a guy like Bryce Harper, I'm taking Andrew Miller, lefty on lefty. I don't give a crap. Look, you know what?
The
I'm just
reason why I
saying-
don't have the Cardinals winning the World Series is because of the bullpen. It's the same exact reason why I don't have
I
the
just have
Nationals
them winning
winning
the
World
series, okay? I don't have them winning the World Series. I
Yeah,
have them-
you can roast me for that
Look,
if it doesn't happen, but I'm telling you.
Jack Flaherty is the best pitcher in baseball right now. He will carry them to a series win in this series. He will do enough. And I think, and then if they face the Nationals or the Dodgers, like he's going to have a very good postseason. This is going to be his coming out party. He's going to be, hey, I'm Jack Flaherty. I'm one of the best pitchers in baseball. Boom, everyone watch me. And then them facing the Dodgers Nationals is going to be tough, and I don't think they have the pitching to beat one of those teams. But in a short series, they have the Jack Flaherty. Look, Jack Flaherty can win 2 games by himself. So if the Cardinals can just find a way to win another game, they can win this series.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a short series, and anything can happen in baseball. We've been saying that all night. Anything can happen. I mean, look, this is a Cardinals team. Do you remember the last time that the Cardinals were doubted when they won the wild card in 2011? with like 80-something wins, took down the 102-win Phillies. Then after that, took down the 90-something win. I don't even remember who they played in that. Who did they play?
11?
And yeah, the NLCS. Who the heck did they play? It wasn't the Dodgers.
Braves?
It was not the Braves. No, the Phillies. No, the Phillies won their division that year, and then they won the wild card. And that was before the wild card game. That was the year before the wild card game. It was Milwaukee.
Oh,
and then they took down Milwaukee.
Zach Greinke Milwaukee.
Yeah, the 90-something win Milwaukee team, and then they went on and took down the Rangers. Like, this is a team. I don't know. I just think St. Louis strives being the underdog. It's happened so many times that people are like, oh yeah, they're the Cardinals. Like they do okay every year, but they're not great. I'm not counting them out, and I like I said, I have them in the World Series, and I have them losing, of course, to the Astros in 6. But you know what? Cardinals, don't sleep on them. And yes, 100% James Point. Jack Flaherty is the greatest pitcher on planet Earth right now, and he is going to have a Madison Bumgarner moment this postseason.
Yeah.
You know what? That you could make a debate for. I'm not saying it's wrong, but it's no clear. Jack Flaherty's clearly. It's not a clear answer, but he's clearly one of the best out there. I will give it to him. But now, going back to my prediction for the Braves-Cardinals series, I'm going to also agree and say that the Cardinals do take the series.
Oh,
I
wow,
know
we got
that.
a clean sweep on that one.
Yeah, I'm going to say the Cardinals
After all
take
the bullpen doubting, I thought you were going with Atlanta. I definitely thought you were going with Atlanta.
I mean,
so what's your main reason, though? Like, why are you saying
the Cardinals?
Yeah.
Starting pitching is just more trustworthy.
Okay,
to me.
Now my point about everyone sleeping on the Cardinals sounds really bad. Like I think overall as a rotation, like top to bottom, the Braves probably have the better pieces in the rotation, but I trust Flaherty more, and then Keuchel's hit or miss, honestly. I mean, so is Michaelis. So
right.
they're both hit or miss, but I don't know. There's something I like.
Is
about
Wainwright in that rotation?
Yeah.
For the postseason?
Yeah. There's something I like about the St. Louis team. I don't know what it is. I picked them to go to the World Series at the beginning of the year, so kind of.
You're not sticking by it.
They are
I
not
didn't pick
going
them,
to the World Series.
Hey man, I still have them going.
They are not going to the World Series.
Well, okay. To be fair, I had Milwaukee and Houston.
Yeah,
so.
at least,
I mean,
it's fine.
But yeah, no. Look, I don't think it's an invalid point, James, because while we all recognize the Cardinals, baseball world, like you said, the sexy pick right now is the Braves. They have all the flash, and they have the Ronald Acuna, the man who likes to celebrate his home runs and robbing before he even completes the actual act of robbing the home run while he's dancing around and Scott Kingery's rounding the bases. But, nevertheless, put that aside. Let's move on to the next series, and obviously since we don't know who the Astros will be playing, Yankees-Twins, which I believe is going to be an absolute slugfest. Oh my gosh, home runs for days are going to be hitting this series.
I know that James was saying that the Nationals-Dodgers series will be the best, but I'm going to challenge that and say that the Yankees and Twins series will be the best one.
I think it depends on how you define best.
It'll be best for like the casual fans who love
right,
bombs.
Who
I
love
think it'll be a
runs.
good series, but
Yeah.
I think in terms of pure baseball, the Nationals-Dodgers will be the best series.
This past August, the Yankees and Twins had a 4-game series in Minnesota. That was one of the best series I've ever witnessed.
I remember that. It was
Aaron
fantastic.
Hicks ended the one game with that diving catch.
Didn't like 3 of those games go to extra innings or something? Or 2
yes,
of them?
they did. That's how good the series is going to be. With the Nationals and the Dodgers, to me, I think that series is going to end in 4. I think that this Yankees series is going to end in 5 games, but the Yankees are going to come out on top because we don't take L's.
Twins in 5.
Yeah, I'm
Yankees
saying
in 5.
I'm saying Twins in 5, and I don't think
you keep doubting the Yankees.
No, I'm not
doubting them.
I'm not doubting the Yankees. I think they're a great team.
I'm not a hater, and I'm not doubting them, but I think this is. I actually do think this is Minnesota's year to win a series. They haven't won a playoff game since October 5th, 2004. It's their time to finally do something in the postseason.
Question.
Yes.
Now, why do you doubt the Yankees?
Starting pitching.
Now, wouldn't you say that there have been other teams that you were just saying, James, a few minutes ago, that one pitcher can carry a team through the postseason?
Yeah, who's your one pitcher?
James Paxton.
Really? James Paxton?
Quit sleeping on my guy, James
Paxton.
Paxton.
But dude, Jack Flaherty and James
sleep
Paxton
on
are not on the same
ERA?
level.
They're not on the same level, but one pitcher can carry a team through
Man's
the postseason.
got a 3.82 ERA.
You can't have
his last 10 games, he has an ERA well below 2.00. That's near what Jack Flaherty's at right now. James Paxton is
Wait.
right now. He has been lights out.
This
is his last
Jack
7 games.
Jack Flaherty has below 1
in the second half.
1.08 in his last 10 games.
Oh, you're doing 10 games. Okay, I didn't understand.
The point that I'm trying to make is that, okay, look, if James Paxton steps up, he can carry the Yankees in the postseason. Luis Severino, he's looked incredible since he came back from that shoulder injury. If he can pitch the same way that he did at the end of the season, if James Paxton continues what he's done in his last 10 games, they can carry the Yankees to the World Series. I'm telling you. Granted, after that, the rotation's kind of weak. I think that Masahiro Tanaka, he's got to go. He's not that great of a pitcher. The fourth spot, big question mark to me. I fear that they're going to put J.A. Happ as their number 4 pitcher.
Oh,
That's
no.
what it's looking like it's going to be. And you know what? You win some and you lose some. We're going to lose when J.A. Happ goes out there. But other than that, we can win with Tanaka, Severino, and Paxton, and those 3 can carry us in the postseason. Tanaka has great postseason numbers, and do not doubt that. Yankees are winning this series in 5 games.
Okay, so I just want to make sure everyone understands the seriousness of who Robbie thinks is going to win the series in the eventual World Series. Robbie, do you want to go ahead and tell the viewers the shirt that you purchased the other day?
I bought a shirt last month. Wait, James, you know about this?
I don't think James knows about this.
I
shirt,
bought
but
a shirt.
He's shaking his head because he
I
knows
bought
what he's
a
about
shirt.
to say.
It's shipped to our house, Kyle. I bought a shirt that says Yankees 2019 World Series champions. That's how confident
That's
I
just
am
like
in
getting.
this.
Okay, well, first of all, why would you get like the unofficial one that hasn't come out with the official merchandise?
Because nobody else is going to have it. And
But
when the
second-
Yankees do win the World Series, I'm going to look like a
Okay,
genius.
but this is like getting one of those tattoos, man. Like one of
Oh,
those
that's what I
tattoos-
said. At least he didn't get a
Like,
tattoo.
no, that,
I
like
mean.
you see those people every year. They get a tattoo. Oh, Super Bowl 54 champions, 2019 World
Right,
Series
right,
champions.
right.
It never happened.
Look,
You just cursed yourself.
nope, I'm not cursing the Yankees. I know when my team is winning
You're
the
a
championship,
meme.
and I know I know when my team is winning the championship, and this is the season. I
Hey,
will tell you that.
James, this
Okay.
is the year, dude. We
Okay,
can't argue
so
it. It's the
so
year.
if they lose, can you wear that shirt around?
I will wear that shirt every day for an entire week
If they lose.
if the Yankees lose.
So
But
when
they're
they-
not losing.
So when
That's
they
on
lose to the
record.
Twins
That's
next week, you're
on
going to wear it the rest of the
record.
week?
Look, I will go on air with a clown mask if the Yankees lose against the Twins. But it's not happening, so I don't have to worry about it.
Oh, my God. You
I
know
will
what?
go on there and wear a clown suit. I will wear the nose, the hair, the makeup, everything you want. I will do whatever. That's how confident I am. Look, this Yankee team is incredibly special. Outside of starting pitching, which you guys keep on bringing up, they have no weakness. And the thing with the Yankees is, as James was saying a few minutes ago, one pitcher can carry a team in a postseason. James Paxton and Luis Severino can do that. They can do this. This is the season because the Yankees, if those guys step up, nothing is beating the Yankees.
I definitely think they can beat Minnesota. Like I'm predicting Minnesota, but I could easily see. New York winning
no
the
bias
series.
here. I mean,
Yeah,
I
It's
think they can
100%
easily
happening.
do it.
Look, it's 100% happening. The Yankees are going to win in 5 games against the Twins, and then against the Astros, they're going to win in 6.
6.
6.
Against,
S-I-X.
oh, I'm sorry. Are we talking about the same Houston Astros here?
Cole,
the
Greinke,
one that have Cole, Greinke, and
Verlander.
Verlander.
Okay, so Andrew, you were just saying a few minutes ago that the Astros might not even make the ALCS, for goodness sake, because they're going to have to get through the race.
because the
So you just contradicted your point.
No,
No,
because
okay,
the
okay.
Twins.
Can I talk about Houston because I've been saying they're the best team.
Houston,
Yes,
we
yes,
have no
yes.
problem. Houston,
We
we have.
don't.
Yes, we get
They
that.
don't. They no. But my point is that like the Yankees are a complete team besides the starting rotation. But if they
Right.
go up against Houston, Houston doesn't have that glaring weakness in the rotation.
What? Okay, and what if the Tampa Bay Rays just come in and surprise people and beat the Astros?
Which they can.
What happens then?
I mean, I don't think they will, but they can.
But what happens if
Yankees
the Twins beat the
you
Yankees?
see, now you're getting
They're-
nervous.
No,
You're
no,
getting
I'm not getting
nervous.
nervous, but I'm saying there's no guarantees. Like just because Tampa beats. Just if Tampa beats Houston, that doesn't mean that New York would beat
And there's
Minnesota.
no guarantee that the Yankees would lose to the Astros.
I'm sorry.
There's
Am
no
I
guarantee.
hearing a Tampa Bay, Minnesota, and an ALCS?
No. We
Tampa
were just
Bay,
going
New York.
stupid hypotheticals.
Okay, but how fantastic would that be, though?
Terrible.
No. Okay, wait. Why would that be terrible? Seriously. You think that'd be terrible? I'd love that.
No,
You get 2 teams that no one knows anyone on it.
Why do you want that? That's terrible for the ratings.
It's fantastic because it gives other people in the spotlight besides the same stupid Yankees, Red Sox, and Dodgers players over and over and over
include
again.
the Astros in that.
Sure, I'll include the Astros, but at least they're somewhat likable, unlike those other 3 teams.
Okay, Andrew, if the
like, I understand
hold on. If the Phillies made the
fine.
playoffs, if the Phillies made
Yeah.
the playoffs every year, would you be complaining?
Would I be complaining?
Wouldn't be
Yes.
complaining.
No,
Look,
Exactly.
Look,
so you have no room to call me out for that.
Well, I'm not a fan of those other teams. So
Okay, look. I get the general stigma of hating Boston, but how are you gonna hate like Mookie, Xander?
all right.
Rafi
I will say
Devers,
of those
JD?
3,
Like,
I
that-
definitely
that's what I'm
hate
saying.
Boston the least.
Yes.
I hate Christian Vasquez.
I hate. Okay, well, you're a Yankees fan, but I'm just saying, in general about the Red Sox, like I understand the hate, but
Yeah.
the group of guys is a likable.
So
group
here's the
of
thing.
guys.
Of those 3, I definitely hate the Red Sox the least because the Red Sox do have likable guys. But New York, I cannot stand the fan base at all. No offense, Robbie. I cannot. Not you, obviously, but I cannot stand Like it takes no effort to be a Yankees fan. And again, I'm so sorry, but it takes no effort.
All of which my great grandfather.
And you know what? And
Are
the
you
other thing that
serious?
always ticks me off.
Like you haven't seen any.
That's
like
what
you
I'm
say
saying.
27 all the time.
You say 27, you can't
but
even
your
not only name them all.
grandfather watched those in
Right.
World War I and World War II.
I
what I'm
can't even
saying.
count to the number 27.
That's what I'm saying. It takes no effort to be a Yankees fan. And then you got the Dodgers. Oh, don't even get me started on that
The
fan base. Show up in the
Doyers.
3rd inning and leave by the 6th and act like you're a big freaking Dodgers fan. You know what?
and have their $8 terrible weenie
And have
Dodger
the terrible
dog.
Dodger dogs are the most overrated hot dog in America.
Ooh,
You know
I
what?
don't know. I've had a
What do
Dodger
you-
dog before.
Hey,
It's
hey,
pretty
They're
good.
not that good.
Hey, Carrabba says the same thing too about the Dodger dogs.
They're
And he had-
so
and he
overrated.
had to eat them 3 straight nights of the World Series.
I've
but he said
had
it was
I've had
worth
a hot dog in
Carrabba's?
Dodger Stadium, in Wrigley
Don't go
Field,
there.
and in Fenway, and I gotta say, 100%, Dodger Stadium's the absolute worst. It's just terrible. It's the most overrated thing ever, but it was the most expensive. So here's the thing. Yes, of those 3 teams, I will definitely say a lot less hate for the Red Sox. I at least can respect guys like Devers and Mookie and all of them. I guess it's just the media attention, especially after last year. Like, we all knew they were the greatest team out there. I mean, there was no
is Jared
question.
Carrabba's that Boston Red Sox reporter?
the best
Oh
baseball
no,
journalist
no,
out there.
All right.
He's not the
Okay.
best.
We're not
journalist.
having a
No.
we're not having a debate on this right now.
We're not
but,
talking
like,
about this.
Yankees fans are obsessed with Carrabba's. Let's
Yeah,
just leave it at that.
I
I
will
will
leave
leave
All
it
right,
at that.
Robbie, we're not doing this.
I'm not having a
No.
Carrabba's debate right now.
No. All right, so you know what? That's pretty much all of the. Do we have another update there? It looks like someone's hitting
yeah.
out. We got another
Yandy-
home
Is that
run.
Yandy again?
Yandy
Yay!
Diaz,
It's
second home run of the game. That's gonna put the Rays
Will we
up
see
4-0.
another comeback tonight, though, just like last night?
Well,
gonna
it is
say
4-0 now. It
It's
was
4-0. Yeah, it was
last night.
3-0 last night.
I know, but still, they went up.
Also, that Rays bullpen is much better than that Brewers bullpen.
Well, Yandy
Granted.
Diaz is feeling pretty good right now too. That's all I gotta say. Look at that. That's a second. Is that Manea still in the
Oh,
game
he's
as well?
getting taken out.
And
He's
Manea's
getting
done.
taken out.
Manea's
Yep.
done. So who's
And
the first
goodbye.
one out here? Or first one out of the pen? I gotta assume it's
Tanner Roark.
Tanner Roark. Yeah, exactly.
Let's see.
Might be. I don't think they'd bring in Hendricks already.
Why wouldn't they? Keep the game at bay.
That's what I'm. Well, that's the only thing I can see them actually trying to do there. Who else is in that bullpen? I'm assuming
Trinan.
Bailey's available. You got Diekman in that pen.
Trinan.
Trinan's been crap.
Wait,
this
I thought
year.
he was injured.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
You're
he's
right. You're right.
shorter injury. Oh, it's Petit.
It is okay. Yasmer Petit. All right, so that's a pretty solid
fair.
pick there. Hopefully, he can keep it there. Yeah. So we don't know who the Astros are going to play yet. I think it's pretty much unanimously decided that the Astros should probably win that series anyway. So to wrap up the show here, let's go ahead and just show some love to some players because it's the last week of the season. And I feel like we can show some love to the guys who didn't make the postseason. If you guys players are ones that did, doesn't matter at all. But I just wanted to take a moment to shout out a guy who did not make the postseason, who I think had a great season. But before I get to that, anyone want to start? Or you want me to go? What do we think?
James,
here?
you want to start?
You want to start, James? You want me to
Wait,
start?
does it have to be someone who didn't make the postseason?
No,
'Cause
no. It can be
I
anyone.
was completely going to base mine off of whoever the hero was last night, so I'm going to show some love to the 20-year-old phenom, Juan Soto.
Okay.
Historically good as a 20-year-old. Last night introduced himself to the world as a superstar. Ice in his veins. Huge clutch hit. He's the man. Juan Soto has a bright future ahead of him, and hopefully he ends up in Cooperstown one day.
Can I go next?
So I'm looking at Robbie's screen right now, and I just gotta say this is the happiest I've ever been with you. So please go ahead and name your player.
I got 2 for this week. Okay.
Okay.
Number 1, it's a Philly. His name is Jared Hughes.
No, get the hell out of here. No, it's not Jared Hughes. It's someone else.
Okay, mine's got mine. I was going to show
Jared
some
Hughes can no. He can. I don't want to see his face in this town again.
I was going to show some love to my boy James Paxton out there because I think he's going to carry the Yankees this postseason. However, I'm going to go with Brad Miller for this week.
Brad Miller.
He's
Let's
been red hot
go.
recently. He's been released by half the teams in baseball. The Yankees, the Rays, the Indians, they didn't want him on their team. He's been playing pretty well for the Phillies.
Can you
Showing
do
Brad
me a
Miller some
favor
love.
and read that stat line from his last 5 games right there?
It's the last 7 games.
I'm sorry,
but
his last 7 games.
He's
Go ahead and read
hitting
that.
455 with 5 home runs and 8 RBIs. Show this man some love.
He had 3 multi-home run games in the span of a week. He did it against Cleveland, he did it against Washington, and then he did it again against the Marlins. And this is Brad Miller's got to sit on our
quick
bench.
point,
That's
by the way.
fantastic. Yeah.
I'm surprised that James's wasn't Jack Flaherty because he's
I
been obsessed
Well,
with
he
him.
did that already.
I showed him love 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
when
2
he
weeks
left
ago, he
early.
already had
it.
I did, or
Yeah.
2 or 3 weeks ago. So don't worry. I showed him love before the whole world
Yes,
started to show him
Before
love.
everyone decided
Before
to know.
everybody
No,
else
seriously,
did.
Jack
I did.
Flaherty was.
I did.
Right. Yeah, I'm going to close it out with a guy who I feel like is not going to get any love due to Yordan Alvarez becoming an absolute sensation overnight and pretty much stealing that Rookie of the Year race. But I think that Eloy Jimenez had a fantastic rookie year, and I think not a lot of people are going to remember it, but, slash 267, 315, slug 513 with an 828 OPS, 31 bombs, and 79 ribbies. He is essentially showing why he got that contract before he even set foot in the majors. I mean, of course, the on-base percentage a little bit down, didn't hit as high average as you wanted him to, but he's a big power bat in the middle of that lineup, and I think he's going to be a key piece in what hopefully is a turning point for the Chicago White Sox in the future towards contention.
I got one more thing that
sure.
This is a guy we've all shown love for in this show, but
yes.
we didn't touch on it. Congrats to our boy Pete Alonso on breaking the rookie home run record, 53 homers. What a rookie season, one of the best rookie seasons of all time. Should be the unanimous National League Rookie of the Year and should finish top 4 in the MVP voting. What a season. Congrats to the Polar Bear. Only better things to come.
Can we talk about his reaction to breaking the record versus Aaron Judge's reaction, though? One was humble and one was just arrogance.
You could get in a whole debate about that, and I know Pete Alonso is definitely someone who's a little less humble. But you got to put it in his perspective as well. This is a young kid who came up here.
And so is Aaron Judge.
Yes, I know, but Aaron Judge was also a lot older when that happened.
Aaron Judge was 24 years old. Pete Alonso was 23.
Oh, why am I thinking he was 2 years older? But no, my point is, look, I mean, you're playing on a team that didn't have a whole lot to be happy about this year.
And the Yankees that season, and he wasn't cocky at all.
I'm trying to defend the Mets right now, okay? Like, please, let me do it.
How do you defend the Mets?
Nothing Alonso did was out of line.
It wasn't
out of line. It was just cocky, and I don't like that kind of arrogance.
It really wasn't, dude. He flipped his bat.
And started pointing up at the fans and dancing and celebrating.
He did it for the fans. He's saying, this is for you. It was game 161.
That's what I'm saying. The Mets had another Mets season.
The next half, he was crying on the field. His mom was crying in the stands. Like Alonso did nothing wrong. I had
That's what I'm saying, Robbie.
I didn't even think about it.
It was not that big of a deal. And look, I hate him, and he's still.
No, I don't remember Judge's reaction to breaking the record.
He had no reaction. No reaction. Didn't even hardly went out for a curtain.
The Yankees were going to the postseason.
This is not a relevant debate.
This is a debate for next week.
No, it's not. It's not relevant, and we won't be touching on it next week at all. It's not happening. No, he didn't do it. Look, I hate Pete Alonso and I hate the Mets, and I'm saying right now, there's nothing out about it was out of line. Is he a little cocky as a person? Yes, maybe, but the man just let him enjoy the moment.
All right, we're going to move on.
No, we're not. We're actually going to end the show there.
Yes, that's
on that fantastic note of whether or not Pete Alonso was out of line, ? But you know what? Nevertheless, we have a great week of baseball ahead of us. Postseason's finally here. We got a 4-0 lead for the Rays over the A's right now in the wildcard game. So have a great rest of your night. Please go enjoy that wildcard game. Should be a great one. We'll see if the Tampa Bay bullpen and or Charlie Morton can keep them at bay. Just a reminder, our show will be up tomorrow around probably noonish or a little bit later on our Twitter for listening. That is at @PastimeCap. And we'll be live again next Wednesday night, 8 to 9 here on WCOA Radio with some more postseason talk and hopefully a ton of great moments to discuss. And, hey, you never know. Maybe the Yankees will even be eliminated by then.
The Yankees will not be eliminated. But thank you guys for listening. Have a wonderful week. And, as always, peace out.
Have a fantastic night, everyone.
Let's go.
Let's go, Yankees.